The whole way through, I went through it thinking and feeling like it was a hardship because I was going through so many physical and mental and emotional changes, and like, not to mention hormonal changes. That was one of the major things, like the hormones. And then I realized in the middle of the night, on one of those sleepless nights, I had an epiphany. Thank God. Because I knew I wanted to share with people about my pregnancy, but I didn't want to leave it on like this terrible note where it was just like, it sucks. It's gonna suck for you, because it may not, you may love it. Like, so many people would come to me and tell me how they never felt more beautiful when they were pregnant, how they never felt healthier in their entire life, that they loved it and they missed it, and it felt so meaningful and wonderful. And I think that's incredible. Like, I loved hearing those stories, but then I also hated it because I was like, I should be feeling this too, and I don't. And it made me feel awful. And I just didn't even want to talk to some of those people that couldn't believe that you could feel any differently. I didn't mind the people that were like, yeah, it's not like that for everyone. I get it. Anyway, so I thought I was going through it wrong, blah, blah, blah. And I had an epiphany in the middle of the night and realized pregnancy is not a hardship. And although, like, I wasn't saying, oh, it's such a hardship, I was responding to it that way because it was filled with a lot of pain and just physical discomfort. And naturally, like, physical discomfort, you're like, pain, that equals something you want to get away from, something negative. And I thought, maybe this is all my mentality. But I realized I was going through a healing process. I had a lot of fears about the type of parent I would be, and I was contending with those. I was trying to put them to rest. I was trying to heal from them and like adapt and take on a new mind, renew my mind. I was open to new perspectives, but they weren't coming to me for most of the pregnancy. And so I felt guilty that I couldn't conjure up more significance through this very challenging time on my own. And I don't think that that's how it's going to happen. Like, it's not up to you to try to feel differently than you feel. If you're experiencing things in one way, like, yes, try to have a good perspective and a good mentality, because that can go a long way. But you also should feel okay to feel the way you feel. And it's fine. And that's something one of my friends from the market told me. He was like, don't be so hard on yourself that you're not feeling the way you think you should be. It's okay to feel the way you feel. And that was what I needed to hear. Mark Grantham, thank you. Because I felt badly that I couldn't match what other people were expecting me to feel. So I let myself off the hook with that, but I also was still hoping to find the beauty in it. And I guess that my prayer would have been that I could find the significance through this process and like the meaning and like to justify it all and to teach me things and to grow and to work through my fears. That would have been my prayer. And I did express that in my negative face or Instagram post. You're not going through a hardship, you're going through a period of transformation. And there's a difference. Hardship brought upon yourself through things you've done wrong, one thing leads to another, or through tragedy and things that are beyond our control. Pregnancy was more of a transformation. It's a metamorphosis. You have to let the old parts of yourself go so you can become something new. Like a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. It has to go into a cocoon, and I'm sure it's a painful process because it's like shedding its skin and like ripping apart and tearing apart from the inside to become a new creation. And that's what pregnancy was like. And when you're in it, for me, at least, this is not for everyone, but for me, when I was in it, it was so painful that that's all I could fathom. I couldn't fathom what was going to be on the other side because it was just so uncomfortable. pain is a pretty distracting thing. And I think God is like a great magician, and he uses the illusion of pain to kind of distract us sometimes from what he's actually doing. So this process is so painful, and you're going through this uncomfortable process, and you're experiencing emotional healing by processing what's going to happen next and how your life is going to change. For me at least, you're going through physical changes that just wreak havoc on your body and rip your body of nutrients, because the baby needs it, and that's hard on you physically and emotionally, and then mentally, like the hormonal changes, all of these things makes you feel a little like pretty crazy. And so all these things are very distracting, but they're like a symptom of transformation or a side effect. And you can get so focused on the side effects and the symptoms of transformation and think that they're just pain, but they're a signifier of something far deeper that's going on. And you are becoming something completely new. You are letting the old parts of yourself, the old perspectives, the old roles, the old mentality die, so that you can become something new. In the end of it, after the metamorphosis, you become a mother. You're not just you anymore, you're a mother. And that was what I was going through. That's why it was so hard, because I was like, I'm not this, I need to become this. I have all of these perspectives and fears and everything standing in my way from being able to become what I know I need to be. I thought I was not even doing a good job preparing, because I was going through so much pain. I thought it was so distracting, but it was like the pain and the discomfort was like a sacrifice that like helped me to contend with everything mentally. So like I needed to be in this negative state where I was actually dealing with my fear in order to fully transform. I haven't given birth yet, but I do feel like I'm a mother now. And it took until having that epiphany that pregnancy was not a hardship, but a metamorphosis, for me to actually feel like that's what I am now. Like I've become that. And it was like it all came together at once. And I don't think you can make those things happen. Like sometimes it's just like when epiphanies happen, it's like all kinds of loose ends that you think aren't connected that come together at once. I couldn't have come up with that myself. That felt like a divine epiphany. In the middle of the night, like when you're half asleep, I wrote all this stuff down for like an hour. I knew that I would only go to sleep actually if I wrote it down. That was really the only reason. It wasn't because I cared in that moment about the epiphany. I just wanted to sleep. Let's be truthful. But in the morning, I was so glad that I wrote that. And it was funny. I knew I was going to share something to kind of bring everything together from all the negative stuff I had written about. I was like, I don't want to leave it at that. Like I want to write about the meaning and the beauty in it all, but I just didn't feel and think and have anything to say that was beautiful until like almost 39 weeks pregnant. I'm 39 weeks pregnant today, so I wish it didn't take this long, but it did. So that's life. Some people would say that if you have a rough pregnancy, it means you'll have a really good relationship with your daughter and that you'll love that, your next stage. So I'm like, yes, that's what I want to hang on to. Don't know if that's true, but I like that vibe still.